Yes, and. Damanhur is a living lab for the future. People come here from all over the world and exchange their research and ideas. Yes, and is a way to share their inspiring stories so that we can build a more awakened world together.
Welcome again to Yes and welcome, Feroze. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you.
So I've had the great pleasure of reading this. It's the new edition. It just came out, and I'm probably one of the first ones to read it.
You are indeed. It's hot off the press.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So would you like, please, to share with us a little bit about who you are before we embark on this extraordinary journey with you?
Well, my previous life is different to my current life.
And we're talking about the same body, right?
Yes,
going through
same
time.
body, yes. We're still not talking about reincarnation.
Okay,
We'll talk later. But previously I was a chartered accountant, had my own private practice in Mayfair in London. But something happened to me some 8 years ago. And this incident was a chance encounter. I was on a boat in a very remote part of Burma, which we call Myanmar, and from a beautiful sunny day, there was a storm, a thunderstorm, lightning, and the boat was beginning to sink. So I...
Beautiful setting, but quite a dramatic experience.
Like my life, everything changed at that point. So we took the boat to the shore, and there at the shore was a monastery. And as we entered this Buddhist monastery, I met this monk.
So you arrived at the monastery by chance because of this accident on the boat?
By an accident of nature, or by a design of nature.
Yes. One of those lines of probabilities that brought you on a different path. Extraordinary.
So that was the beginning of a journey where I realized that there were some 600 Buddhist children in this remote part of Burma. There's no electricity, there's no clean water, there's no proper education. And I felt at this moment in time that I could help these people, I could help these young people.
And helping people and young people in Burma at that time was not easy.
Well, not only was it not easy at that time, but equally the distance where this monastery was from my very secure place in Mayfair, London, was another world.
But you're used to other worlds because you were not born in London.
No, I was born in Pakistan.
And how did you come to, what happened that you went to London? Because I read the story, that's another very interesting story.
I think it was a trick that my father played, you see. And he said, you are a good cricketer, my son, why don't you go to England and play cricket? So I thought I was going to go and play cricket, but he's organized a job for me at an accounting firm. So before I know it, he played the trick and I became an accountant. So that's
live in a beautiful sunny country and having a little bit of a cultural shock, right?
Yes.
With the drizzle and the fog.
Well, but like everything else, we adapt to our circumstances and we make the best of where we are.
So many years in London, a very successful career, and then you get married to
a Burmese lady.
Right? So she was a little bit the reason why you were in Burma at that time?
Well, yes, she said, let's go and visit our relatives. And that's how the trip to Burma began. And she's totally responsible for what has happened.
So then the relatives became many more.
Yes.
And all these children are now a part of your family.
So what I would say is that what began as a small family has now become a family of 1,200 children. Now we have more children at the monastery, and the conditions there are much better
than they were previously. Yeah. One of the things, the problems you had to confront at the very beginning was the problem of water, right? So what have you done there?
Well, again, I think is a message that I also hear from Damanhur, the message of collective intelligence, that you can exercise and achieve something which is most improbable. And when I mentioned to my colleagues, to my friends, saying, you know, I want to create a water factory in a remote part of Burma where there is no electricity, people laughed. However, the monk there was a very clever man, and he supported me, and a lot of people supported this enterprise, and we did have a water factory, which now produces enough water to feed the children, to drink for the children, to give water to the village, and to also sell bottled water so that they can also buy food. So it was one of the most
So you made the monastery
self-sufficient.
self-sufficient.
Yes.
That is really wonderful. And this water has a wonderful name, right? Can you tell us the name of
The
the
name of
water?
the water is Koyen water. Koyen means novice monk, which is of course what the monastery is.
It's really a wonderful, wonderful name. If people wanted to help
Yes.
and participate in the project, is it possible?
Well, actually, I always say to people that your talent and your skills are more useful than your money. Of course, money is welcome, but if you have skills to give, then those are most welcome. So yes, of course, they can get in touch with
Your
the Inle Trust,
organization?
and we have the contact details.
And
in
so
this
you
program.
would like more to have volunteers that come and
Yes,
live there,
who have special skills.
like
Well, skills to teach computers, English language, Italian language even maybe.
wonderful. Yes, why not?
You know, sewing, baking, so that these young people, when they finish school, have certain skills.
What is the situation that they find themselves in after they finish school? What is the situation in Burma at the moment?
It's very difficult, of course, employment, but now with the progress that we made in the monastery, we have a nurse training school there, we will have a teacher's training school shortly, will have a sewing facility, so we are introducing the post-education skills that the children can go into immediately and then have a job, if you like, or a profession.
Wonderful, and that will in turn help the whole of the society grow.
I hope not only would this be a good thing for the monastery, but it would be a model, I hope, for others to follow.
When we're speaking of children here, is it boys and girls?
Oh yes, certainly boys and girls. And one of the extraordinary things about Burma is everybody's equal. The women work out in the fields, as do the men. They work in offices. They are really quite equal.
And this is so important,
It's
right? In
so-
the transformation of society, the role
Correct.
of women has proved to be the
Indeed.
crucial factor. Well, and you told me there is a special sentence that is really dear to you in the book. So I'd like to read it, and maybe you can elaborate on that a little
Yes, with
more
great pleasure.
and tell us how that connects to your own spiritual journey.
Of course.
You cannot know the truth by reading, studying, lecturing, thinking. Close those doors. Only then in stillness the doorway of the heart will begin to open up. It's a beautiful sentence.
It is my own spiritual background, if that's the right word, is from my Sufi master. And also, actually, I've been lucky enough to follow Vipassana meditation, which is a Buddhist form of meditation. But these words simply mean this, that wisdom and peace can be found within. It cannot be found without. It cannot be found outside. Once you achieve that feeling of peacefulness and love, then everything springs from that. You will see the wisdom around you. So that's why, although it's such a simple statement, this is the first statement my spiritual master made to me as I was leaving for Burma some 8 years ago.
Wonderful.
So it means a lot to me.
And how, if you were to tell people a little piece of advice on how to overcome fear, for instance, that sometimes blocks people,
Yes.
not in a good way, but that
Yes.
really paralyzes
Well,
us through change.
what a lovely question. Rumi said, of course, live where you fear to live. Now, that doesn't mean you go and put yourself in physical danger. What it does mean, though, that we live in a very comfort zone. People like to live within this frame. They don't want to go out of this frame. But so much more lies within, outside this frame. don't be scared to take a risk. And I don't mean a physical risk, I mean a risk of going and living in a different life. Coming to Damanhur, for example. Some might think it is risky, if you like. But take that chance. Go and discover. There are many more lives you can lead, you know. There's
Yes.
not one life.
Many more lives in just one lifetime,
Yes.
if we have the courage of trying
If you have the
something.
courage. So don't fear. Don't fear.
Thank you. That's great piece of advice. And my last question to you. You've been to Damanhur a few times.
Yes.
Why? Why do you keep coming back? Is there something here that inspires you?
Yeah. Well, you know, in the sort of Scottish parlance language, they talk about something called tin places, place where the atmosphere is light, where your connection with nature and its forces is significantly easier to access. Damanhur is such a place of energy where you can feel an access to the spiritual world around you. That's why I come to Damanhur.
Thank you, Feroze. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.